It's finally done. It's finally done. Breaking across all social media from you know who, Shams. Ending a summer-long stalemate, Jonathan Kuminga has agreed to a 2-year, $48.5 million contract to return to the Golden State Warriors. Agent Aaron Turner told ESPN. The deal has a team option designed for the contract to be ripped up and renegotiated next summer. That's interesting. So instead of the going to a player option, it's a team option to, hey, if you say who you say you are and you're bought in, get chef number 5 and all this, then next summer, we on good faith, we will tear it up and give you that big contract that you want. But you can't have the player option because, well, we might still trade you, right? And here's the next part from Shams. Through negotiations between Mike Dunleavy Jr. and Turner from July to September, Golden State ultimately increased its offer by a total of $8 million in the 2-year framework and guaranteed Kuminga approximately $15 million more than the qualifying offer would have for this season. Whew. Everyone's breathing a sigh of relief, at least a little bit right now. Before we get into this, Prize Picks, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. You can pick 2 to 6 players, predict more or less on their projected stat lines, and cash in if those hit. You've got a huge Game 5 tonight in Las Vegas with the Indiana Fever and the Las Vegas Aces. My picks, A'ja Wilson, more than 33.5 points, rebounds, assists. Listen, here's what I know. I know that A'ja's a 4-time MVP, and when it's go time, it's go time. And when it's an elimination game, I like A'ja to fill it up. I know AB has been, it's been interesting. She's kind of given it to her physically. And then I've got Lexi Hull, Stanford's own, for more than 5.5 points. But again, Prize Picks, use the code Alchemy, play new users, play $5 and get $50 instantly. That's Prize Picks. All right. Now that that's out of the way. I mean, I guess we all knew this was coming, right? I guess we didn't. I mean, something could have happened. Steve Kerr has coached Kuminga very hard over the last 4 years. And I think that coaches, the more talent you have, I think the harder a coach usually is on you because the expectations and what they know that they can get out of you, right? But my question is now, headed into year 5, does Steve kind of change his approach in the sense of, does he kind of accept Kuminga for who he is? He's going to miss some box outs. He's going to miss some screens, or he's not going to make some extra passes, right? Just like Julius Randle or, take your pick of star caliber players that have plenty of warts, but teams look past it because they know the other things that they provide. Right. And it's like, well, okay, I get it. He's, there's going to be some mistakes. It's funny, like GP2, who is back in. Look, I love GP2. I do. I'm just super frustrated with his durability. And I question sometimes about his illnesses. But that's the story for another time. But like GP2, as fun as he is, as much of a defensive demon as he is, he makes like 3 or 4 mistakes a night if he plays 20 minutes. And it's just looked past because GP2's 30-something years old. He's 30 years old. It's like he is what he is. We understand it. Does Kerr kind of change his, again, his mentality? Like, all right, well, we know that those are some holes in his game, but he also can give us 20 on any given night, and he is the best athlete on the floor most nights. Now, the report was when Al Horford, I guess is going to officially sign now that this deal is done, is the new starting center for the Warriors. Right? So you've got Al, Draymond, and Jimmy starting in the front court. I don't think you're starting Kuminga alongside Steph in the backcourt, right? Like that's not happening. And we'll have a discussion of who that 5th guy will be because there's some options here. Pods is always an option. D'Anthony Melton, how much he fits and plays well with Steph. Moses kind of has earned it, right? So that'll be a story for another time. But the point is, Kuminga's going to be coming off the bench, right? Is he a baked-in 6-man? Like, is it like guaranteed when the subs are coming in early, 6-minute mark or whatever it is, it's Kuminga every night, right? I'm sure, a lot of you would be happy with that. And, one thing that we didn't get to see last year because of how long that ankle injury took was Kuminga playing with Quentin Post. And I was so excited to see that because remember, QP didn't really get his opportunity until the second half of the season when Kuminga was hurt for most of that. But his ability to step out and shoot that three, obviously, how quick it is, the trail three, and there's levels to this, right? Like Al will stretch the floor in the corner, right? And he will shoot the three. But there will be nights where teams' defensive scheme is like, we're not selling out on Al Horford at 3-point line. Like, we're going to stunt at him. And like, if he starts making them, then we'll get out to him type of scenario, right? Quentin Post has the ratchet, as you know, right? It's super quick, it's deadly, and it's what he wants to take most. And so that's a different proposition as far as spacing on the floor because you got to stay attached to Quentin Post. Like that's going to be every team's like, hey, we got to run him off the 3-point line. We never really got to see that combination. And so when you're looking at a second unit, Quentin and Kuminga, I think could be, very intriguing, right? And then like, hey, if we want to be positive right now, you saw Jimmy and Draymond working out and Jimmy seems like he's really working on his 3-ball. Draymond, you hope that he can sustain what he did last year and even maybe get more efficient, right? But if in a perfect world, Jimmy and Draymond are both shooting the 3-ball confidently, Al shoots it well, Quentin Post, we know what he is, right? And then all of a sudden, JK just has there's a ton of lineup options and a ton of opportunity for him to be in different lineups, right? That would be, it could be. I definitely am not ruling it out, but if you've been watching my channel for a while, am I kind of glass half empty? I think I'm a little bit of a pessimist, especially when it comes to the Warriors. You say, well, what could go wrong here? What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong here? Well, Jackson Rowe could be playing over Kuminga and he completely checks out, right? Like let's be real here. We all know like Kerr, he has so many guards now as he always does. Like Kerr could be rolling out 3-guard lineups and Kuminga, could be the 7th, the 8th. DNPs would be crazy, but I'm not even ruling it out. And then, here we are, it's deja vu all over again. So, I don't think, listen, I'd lean, actually, being as pessimistic as I am, I would, if I was a betting man, I would bet on the first option that I laid out there. Maybe not that Jimmy and Draymond are shooting 40 from 3, but that with Quentin, and then if the rumored Seth Curry is going to sign as well, that's another movement shooter that can free Kuminga because they'll run the same sets for Seth as they do for Steph. So if he's in a second unit with Quentin Post and Seth Curry, right, that should provide plenty of spacing for him to feast and do what he wants to do, right? So I don't want to be negative, but I think we all understand like there is a possibility that this goes sideways where Kerr's like, oh yeah, I just love the Moody Pods Melton lineup, and Jackson Rose just is rebounding. Like you can't rule that out, right? You can't rule that out. As far as the contract goes, it looks like I haven't got the full, the 48.5. So it's going to be around 24 million per. Certainly a reasonable enough contract for the other teams that have been interested in him to still be interested in him, right? And I think what will be interesting as this season takes off is you look at teams like the Pelicans, the Heat, the Sixers, teams that always seem to be snake bitten. They always seem to be 49ered. And how long do some of these teams believe in their chance this season, right? Like the Sixers are going to come into it with like, all right, let's see if Embiid's healthy. Is Paul George, podcast P quit podcasting? Like, right? Is it 15 games in where it's just a disaster? Or are we sitting at the All-Star break with a bunch of teams that all still kind of believe, at least for the play-in, right? That's what the play-in kind of alters, I think, with trades. It opens up a bigger window for teams like, hey, that's our goal, as opposed to maybe punting on the season. So it'll be very interesting to see what teams kind of fall out of the race early, or they're snake bitten with injuries. And it's like, oh, well, maybe, they become interested in Kuminga and it's a team we haven't heard of, because every year there is that team, right? That it's like, oh, just forget about it. It's terrible, right? Cross our fingers and knock on wood that it's not Golden State, right? But there will be some snake-bitten teams that may become interested in Kuminga as the year goes on. But hey, maybe it works out. Maybe with the added shooting, and they can let bygones be bygones. You heard Steph at Media Day, and I think that as I heard Steph, in the way he handled the questions, I thought about it like this. I think that it is much easier to look past this rough negotiation. One, they're veterans and they've all been through it, so it's probably even easier for them. But for me, when you look at the context of the situation where, let's be honest, Kuminga has been jerked around in the first 4 years of his career. There's no doubt about it. There's been nights where I was like, he's awful, get him off. I react to the moment. If he's struggling and it's like, hey man, get it together, get him out of there, maybe sit him for a little bit. But there's been plenty of moments where it's like, yo, you're not gonna go to Kuminga right now? Like, that's kind of crazy. But beyond him in the kind of the mishandling of his opportunities, right? You look at who Jonathan Kuminga is, coming over from the Congo, and just one of the youngest players in the NBA these last. He's 22. He's been in the league for 4 years, right? And then you get this agent who has just big used car salesman energy, right? And so I think the agent, you know what he did? He did his job. Shout out to Aaron Turner, because not only did he get Kuminga a contract I think that they're happy with for the time being, but he's also been this. He's going to be Kuminga's scapegoat, right? Because I don't know about you, but I think that they're looking at it like, dude, we get it. All right, he was a young kid coming from Africa, right? So there may be a little bit of a cultural disconnect when with these handlings, right? And you get this doofy agent, and it was his issue. He handled it wrong. They know Kuminga day to day. They know that he's a good kid and he puts in the work. And so I think that it may be easier to separate this negotiation from Kuminga because of his agent. At least that's how I'm feeling right now. What are the odds he's on the team this time next year? I don't know, man. It is as much drama as it has been. No one's going to like it if listen, winning cures all, right? But I think it is a very interesting storyline headed into the season of just flat out opportunity. And what's this going to turn out to be? Am I sitting here in January laughing at the thought of trading Kuminga? Right. And it's like, dude, my bad. This is like, we didn't see this coming. Thank God we didn't. Thank God we didn't make that Malik Monk trade. Or are we sitting here in January in the trade machine trying to figure out what value they can get, because he and Kerr once again have butted heads and he's not getting the opportunity. And, it is what we kind of all have thought it would be moving up into this point. Anyway, let me know how y'all feeling about this. Are you salty towards Kuminga? You going to put it on the agent? Are you like, listen, as a Warrior fan, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for what's best for the Warriors. So if he balls out and buys in and it works, then hell yeah. But if it don't, then it don't. Yeah, man. I'm relieved, like everyone else, that the news is, has touched down here finally. Get everybody into camp here just in the nick of time. We've got the Lakers in preseason game number 1 Sunday, and you definitely will hear from me after that one. By the way, Patreon, if you want the heart of my content, the best part of my content, the game breakdowns, along with other stuff of quarter by quarter in case you missed the game, X's and O's, stuff you can't say on YouTube, and just it's just my best work, like without question. I'll put that link in the description as well to get ready for the season here. You can join and again get breakdowns of every Warrior game, way more extensive and deep than what you see here on YouTube. But yeah, man, it's a done deal. Kuminga is a Warrior for now. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.